Hello everyone. In today's session, I'm going to solve 8 descriptive questions for you. This has been a challenging task for me, answering all 8 questions in one go. I wish you all the best, my dear students, and I advise you to stay calm, don't panic and attempt all questions. Don't leave any question for lack of time. Attempt all questions. 8 into 4 is equal to 32 marks. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss questions and answers carrying a total of 32 marks. Most of these questions are provided by our subscribers. I thank B.Wordsworth for the first question. In the short story B.Wordsworth, what did the man tell the boy about his idea of a poet and poems? The answer now. I have prepared these answers from my interpretation of the text. If you have any other extra point, you may add that and adjust the length of the answer. B.Wordsworth in V.S. Naipaul's B.Wordsworth told the boy that he was the greatest poet in the world. The first B.Wordsworth is the name of the main character of V.S. Naipaul's short story, and the second B.Wordsworth is put within quotation marks because it is the name of the story. Whenever you are writing the name of a short story, a play or a poem, do underline it or put it within quotation marks. He shared one heart with his brother, White Wordsworth, probably William Wordsworth. He could watch a small flower like the morning glory and cry. According to him, a poet can cry for everything. This is the first point. I have quoted this from the text. Do not use incorrect quotations. Break the quotations, the lengthy quotations, into smaller ones, and if you want, you may use them for your answers. According to him, a poet can cry for everything. The first point, and now let's see. When the boy's mother refused to buy his poem at a bargain price of 4 cents, B. Wordsworth commented that it was the poet's tragedy. Another quotation revealing the alienation of the poet from the society. The second point. And lack of material prosperity of poets. The third point. Can poets be rich and successful? These themes are highlighted in B. Wordsworth. Next. When the boy asked him if he would be the richest man in the world when he would write the greatest poem, B. Wordsworth didn't reply. I have written a point and then I have also substantiated that point very briefly here. He claimed he knew the boy had the poet's eye, signifying that poets have great power of observation and sensitivity. You may also add that B. Wordsworth was trying to write the greatest poem that would sing to all humanity. And B. Wordsworth was also going through a phase of a kind of writer's block. He could just write a single line per day. You may add these points or you may not add these points. This answer is enough for you to get good marks. Dear students, just have a look at the length. Your length of the answer will depend on the time available, on the question, on the points that you know, and on your handwriting. So there are many factors. Don't worry about the length. Adjust accordingly. The next question now. Question 2. Analyze the character of Prospero as revealed in Act 5, Scene 1 of the play The Tempest. The forgiving nature of Prospero is evident in the final act of The Tempest. In the very opening statement, I have highlighted one of the most important features of Prospero's character, and that is his forgiving nature, and after mentioning it, I am now substantiating the point. He believes that the rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. A quotation. When Ariel describes the distracted condition of Alonso and the other sinners. Who are the other sinners? We all know Antonio, Sebastian are the other 2 sinners. Prospero melts and softens towards them. The completeness of Prospero's forgiveness clearly appears in his words to Alonso when the latter, that is Alonso, speaks of asking Miranda's forgiveness. He tells Alonso to forget the past. When he forgives, he abjures his magic, revealing that he does not use his supernatural powers for evil purpose. He is grateful to Gonzalo, shows his love for Ariel, keeps his promise by setting him free. He is also a doting father. I have mentioned the other aspects of Prospero's character as evident in Act 5 very briefly. Again, this is the second answer. Adjust the length. The third question now, bring out the irony in the sound machine. In Roald Dahl's The Sound Machine, it is ironical that Klausner's strong obsession is finally what causes the sound machine to be destroyed and puts to waste all his hard work. The theme of obsession. This is ironical. And then I have tried to substantiate this point, prove this point. In order to prove his hypothesis, Klausner placed the sound machine on the ground close to the trunk of the beech tree, picked up the axe and swung the axe as he could at the base of the tree trunk. You will have to write all the answers with close reference to the text. Therefore, you will have to mention episodes from the text, and that too very briefly. Again, he swung the axe at the tree for the second time. It struck the tree and wedged deep into the wood. The branch came crashing down and smashed the machine into pieces. This is the irony. And the second irony, Klausner feels remorse for the tree, but ironically he inflicts pain on it. He has to make his invention, and therefore he feels sad for the tree, but he cannot afford to stop experimenting, and therefore he inflicts pain on the beech tree. This is the answer on irony in the sound machine, and this question was asked by our subscriber Abhay Rajput. Irony of the story Sound Machine. Abhay, I have answered your question. Moving on to the next question, and this question has been asked by Riya Gupta. Ma'am, can you please make a video on imagery used in Dover Beach? Definitely, this is my answer. With close reference to Dover Beach, analyze the imagery and its significance. Now, just have a look at the length. This answer is lengthy. The length of the answers will vary. All the answers will not be the same. Keep this in mind. Let us now read this. Imagery in Matthew Arnold's Dover Beach brings out the predominant note of melancholy in the poem. A very simple and basic introduction. Do check the playlist for other videos which will help you understand how to write answers better. Imagery in Matthew Arnold's Dover Beach brings out the predominant note of melancholy in the poem. Imagery related to the sea pervades the poem. Very specific, very to the point, and I have changed the paragraph. The calm sea, full tide, moon-blanched landscape are visual imagery. I have now selected examples and I have examined them with close reference to the text. You will have to write all your answers with close reference to the text, otherwise you will not get any marks. The calm sea, full tide, moon-blanched landscape are visual imagery evoking a picture of tenderness, beauty and poise. Do check the easy explanation videos for writing these answers. The image of the sea is a metaphor for faith, and the receding sea of faith signifies loss of faith in religion. Visual imagery. The sea, the image of the sea and the image of the receding sea of faith. Faith and religion are like garments that impart a feeling of solidarity. The clothing imagery used in Dover Beach. The visual imagery related to clothing. That faith is shaken. The sea of faith lay round the earth's Shore, like the folds of a bright girdle. I'm sorry, I've made a mistake here. Just add shore. The sea of faith lay round the earth's shore like the folds of a bright girdle. This clothing imagery is a visual image. The image of ignorant armies clashing by night suggests purposelessness and ignorance. I have picked up certain examples of visual imagery and I have explained them very briefly. Next, auditory imagery. The grating roar of pebbles and melancholy long withdrawing roar are auditory images. These images help us to perceive how the perpetual movement of waves bring an eternal note of sadness. Tales terribly dark has asked a lot of questions, but I could just answer one. Question 5. What is the significance of Miss Meadows' meeting with the science mistress in the corridor? Question 5. What is the significance of Miss Meadows' meeting with the science mistress? The science mistress stops Miss Meadows and mentions the cold weather. The science mistress, who looks sweet and blonde, notices that Miss Meadows looks frozen. A quotation. Miss Meadows thinks this kindness is insincere, wonders whether she noticed anything, and says that she is not quite as bad as that. I have used quotations here. She gives the science mistress, in exchange for her sugary smile, a quick grimace and passes on. In the opening paragraph, in the introduction, I have stated the episode, the meeting of Miss Meadows with the science mistress. And then, in the next paragraph, I have analyzed the significance of this meeting, a critical analysis. Miss Meadows is a self-conscious character concerned about her public image. This is important. She thus hides her feeling of despair from the science mistress. In doing so, she treats her rudely. This is the significance of the meeting, and also remember that this meeting takes place in the cold corridor. The coldness refers to the cold weather as well as the coldness of Miss Meadows' feelings. Miss Meadows is filled with despair and this fills her with coldness. Well, this is the answer. You may write this answer. I hope that this length is suitable for this particular answer. Length of the answers may vary. Now, the next question, question number 6. Assess the idea of art for art's sake expressed in O'Shaughnessy's poem, We Are the Music Makers. O'Shaughnessy's ode, We Are the Music Makers, does not directly reflect the theme of art for art's sake, but has a touch of that. Very essential to be stated in the opening statement. Does not directly reflect the theme, but has a touch of it. The poet celebrates the immortality of art and the artists. The analysis now. Irrespective of the occurrences in the world and irrespective of the age and place they live in, the timelessness of art. Art is eternal. The two biblical allusions of Babel and Nineveh show the timelessness of art. The poem is a celebration. This is why there is a touch of art for art's sake. And now, in the next paragraph, I will show why the poem is not entirely based on this theme. But the movement of art for art's sake emphasizes only on the aesthetic importance of art. What is the meaning of aesthetic importance of art? That art is all about beauty, art is all about creation, and artists do not have any social responsibility. But the movement of art for art's sake emphasizes only on the aesthetic importance of art and believes that art needs no justification and that it need not serve any political, didactic or other purposes. O'Shaughnessy also makes a triumphant announcement of the sovereignty of the poet, the artists, unsung before. The music makers and dreamers of dreams are the movers and shakers of the world forever. This is again important. The artists are music makers. They create beautiful pieces of art. They are dreamers of dreams, but they are also responsible for changing the world and the society with their radical and revolutionary thoughts and ideas. They are visionaries. They are the movers and shakers of the world. Therefore, this poem is not just about art for art's sake, but also about the impact, the role of art in society, the role of the artist, the powerful role of the artist in society. Therefore, the conclusion, the poet not only touches upon the idea of art for art's sake, but also celebrates the impact, very important, impact of art upon society. Art for art's sake, art as a piece of creativity and beauty, the aesthetic aspect of art. And in this poem, we are the music makers. We have the timelessness of art, the beauty of art, but also the powerful role of art in society. Therefore, there is just a touch of it in the poem. Keep this in mind. Quickly, moving on to question number 7. How do the three villains, Caliban, Stephano and Trinculo, contribute to the comic element in the play The Tempest towards the end? The chief source of humor. What is the meaning of humor? Comic elements, fun elements. In The Tempest is the drunken trio. Three people. Who are they? Consisting of Caliban, Stephano and Trinculo. In scene 1 of Act 4, the three of them whom Ariel has led into a filthy pool to punish them for their wicked conspiracy to kill Prospero, enter again wet. They are completely drenched. Stephano and Trinculo are sorry to lose their bottles of wine, but are delighted to see rich garments at the entrance of Prospero's cell. They steal some of them, but hounds and dogs created by Prospero and Ariel attack them and pursue them. We cannot but laugh at the scene. This is hilarious and this is a comic element. This provides comic relief. Alonso calls Trinculo a reeling pipe. Quite funny. Stephano considers him to be a cramp. Another funny quotation. It is funny to see Caliban calling Stephano, my king, and Trinculo commenting, O king, Stephano, O pure, O worthy Stephano. Stephano also thinks himself to be the king of the island. The humor is not refined. The critical analysis. The buffoonery of Stephano and Trinculo is coarse, that is rough. What is the meaning of buffoonery? A new word. Something that is ridiculous, absurd, funny, something that is ridiculous and amusing, absurd and funny. This is the meaning of buffoonery. And finally, the last question. This has been quite a challenging task. What are the possible conditions that make the little boy's mother harsh in nature in B.Wordsworth? In B.S. Naipaul's B.Wordsworth, the mother of the boy narrator is harsh. The strict mother serves as a foil to the accommodating nature of B.Wordsworth. And the reasons now, my interpretation, the narrator's mother is a widow who is raising her son on her own. This information is not there directly in the short story, but if you read the novels, you will get an idea. The narrator's mother is a widow who is raising her son on her own. There is no other male figure in the family. This perhaps makes her too strict at times. The boy narrator is accustomed to receiving beatings from her. She has to endure. The second reason, she has to endure a lot of hardships to raise the boy single-handedly. The third reason, she is poor and has to provide for her family. She has to toil hard, work hard, but she is also willing to help others. Thus, these factors probably make her harsh. Temperamentally, she has become insensitive living in post-colonial Trinidad. The social context, post-colonial Trinidad. These few questions were asked by a few of our subscribers. Jyotika asked me to provide an answer. The theme of art for art's sake in We Are the Music Makers. Thank you, Jyotika. Again, we have Tanuja Negi, who asked this specific question: how do the three villains, Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo, contribute to the comic element towards the end? Prepare this question, my dear students. And thank you, Tanuja. I also thank Lily Ganguly, who asked this question: what are the possible conditions that made the little poet's mother harsh in nature, in B.Wordsworth? So everyone, this is the end of today's session. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm really sorry that I cannot answer all your queries because of obvious limitations. But I'll try to help you as much as possible. Till then, study